Hello everybody, this is the project, and we want to take a look at how to set this up and how to address some of the problems. In this particular project, you are required to do the confidence intervals and of course the regression using the entire data set and of course a sample of 20. If you take a look at this, you will notice that the data set has 105 homes with different variables. Of course, you have the agent price, size. You're not going to use all of them. You're just going to use a few of them as are required by the assignment. So the first thing you do is to make sure that the data analysis can be performed on your computer. To do this, you need to go to File, and then you are going to go to More, and then from More you go to Options, and then when you come to Options, you will need to go to Add-ins right here, and of course you will go down here where you have Manage is already Excel add-ins. If you open it up, you see a host of other stuff, but you make sure you are in Excel add-ins. Okay, then click on Go. When you click on Go, now mine is already downloaded or checked, so make sure you check the analysis tool pack. That's very important. Without this, you're not able to do any kind of statistical analysis, so you have to check this. You can also check that if you want, but the most important to be checked is the analysis tool pack, the very first one. Okay, so mine is already done, so I'm going to cancel this. If you're not done, then you have to click OK. Okay, all right, so that will be the first thing. So when I do that, I click on data, you're going to see the data analysis right here. So if the data analysis is not there, then it means you can't do any of this stuff. So the first set of questions requires you to do confidence intervals based on a random sample of 20 homes. So what we are going to do is to first of all select that sample. So there are many ways you can do this, but let's just do it the one way. So if you go to the very last column, right, not on the labels row where the numbers or the actual data set begins, so you're going to double click, and I'm going to do equals. Of course, if you want to solve any problem, do any formula for Excel, you have to start with equals. So I'm going to do equals, and I'm going to type R&D and open and close parentheses and enter. Okay, so once I enter, I see a number. So I need numbers for each of the cases, each of the homes. So I am going to double click. When I double click, you notice that there are numbers generated for all the homes, 105 of them. Okay, so these are random numbers generated, and they are they can be put in order. So what do we need to do now? We will need to first of all make sure that these numbers are just numbers, because if I try to arrange these numbers in order from smallest to largest, largest to smallest, without doing this, then it's not going to work. So I am going to go to you can see that everything is copied, right? Copy and right click, and I'm going to do copy. You can see selected. I'm going to go to home, and I'm going to go to paste right here, open it up, and then paste numbers. That's the only way I can arrange this in order. So I'm going to click outside and type just a number to clear all the selections. I type 0 and delete it. Okay, so you can see that I have deselected my stuff. So I'm going to name this random. Let's just say random as the heading for the column. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to arrange these numbers in order from the smallest to biggest, right? So to do this, I am going to come right here and open this up, and I'm going to do custom sort. So I'm going to sort the entire data set by the column I just created, which I called random. So right here, that's random, and I'm going to do OK. So you can see that this last column has been arranged from the smallest to the largest, right? So now what does this mean now? It means that I am going to select the first 20 of everything. So I'm going to copy everything, the first 20, that's let me see, this is not showing me. Okay, so let me move this a little bit so I can see clearly. Okay, so I'm going to select the first 20 homes, starting from the records down to 20. It's going to go to 21. Of course, the first row is the column, sorry, the headers. So that's the first 20. Okay, I'm going to copy, right click, and I'm going to copy, and I'm going to open another worksheet, go to plus. So I'm going to paste. I'm going to paste as now. Let's paste it like this. Okay, so you can see I have two sheets. One is actually the entire data set, so this, and I'm going to call this sample, my sample of 20, right? So I'm going to right click and rename this as my sample of 20. Okay, so for the confidence intervals, questions 1 through 5, the first set, I'm going to use this sample, right? That's a sample of 20. Okay, so let me go this way, let me move this a little bit. Okay, so now let's give an example of how to do confidence intervals for the very first question, which is a sample of our 20 homes, using the mean selling price. So the price is right here. Okay, so the confidence intervals, to get that, you are going to go to, let's do this. So we have the homes right here, sorry, the prices right here. So I am going to do a 95% confidence interval for the price. So how do I do that? I go to my data and I go to data analysis, and I am going to do select descriptive statistics. Okay, so you click OK, and then let me just, anyway, I can reset this. Let me remove all the stuff. Okay, so now these were not supposed to be selected. Of course, they're not selected when you do this initially. So I am going to select, okay, right here, which of the variables are you going to use. So we're going to use price. So I'm going to click on this arrow up, and I'm now going to select price because I'm doing the confidence interval for price. So I'm going to select everything right here. Okay, so I am going to click this to get back here. So now you can see that when I selected price, the very first value is a word, which is price itself, right? So I'm going to tell the Excel that the very first value is a label. Okay, so why do I want my result to show? I'm going to select new worksheet, apply. I'm going to do summary statistics, and I'm also going to select confidence level. Now remember that the very first question is asking for 95% confidence interval, so that's why I have a 95 here. If you are looking for 90% confidence, you change this to 90, right? So but in this case we are using 95. So I think everything is set. I've selected labels because my first value is a label. I want this to be saved in a new worksheet, so it's going to create another worksheet here where it's going to store my values. Okay, summary statistics is going to give us the mean, median, standard deviation, all other stuff, and of course this is what we are looking for. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. So you can see there's a sheet number 6. Well, because I think I've done this a couple of times, so I have deleted some sheets before. So this is what I have. Okay, that's the summary statistics, the mean, standard error, median, and so on. Okay, now so you can see here that I have the mean. The mean is that and the confidence level of 95 is that. Now this is also called margin of error. So this is margin of error. So if you add to the mean and subtract from the mean, you get the boundaries. Now the confidence interval has two values, the lower and upper. So how do you compute those? So I am gonna, let's move this a little bit. So I'm going to type here lower CI, let me call it CI lower. No, let me just type 95%. 95% CI, let's say lower. Okay, lower. So here I am going to do this again. If you want to compute anything, you have to start with equals. Now the thing is, we have to do this. This is B4. You can do B, sorry, this is the mean. So mean minus the confidence level. So I'm going to do mean right here, B3 minus, I'm going to click on the confidence, that's okay, B3 minus B16, enter. That gives me the lower confidence level, 95%. Then the next one is to do the 95% CI upper. Okay, so again I'm going to start with equals, the same B3, that's the mean, plus B16 and enter. Okay, so the lower confidence, of course, if you double click, if you click on this, you can see the formula right here, B3 that's the mean minus the margin of error. Okay, here is the mean, you can see it right here, mean plus the margin of error. That gives you the two boundaries, the lower and the upper. So what we have here is that the 95% confidence interval for the price, of course you can see here, price of the homes is between 258,899 to 405,323. Okay, so how do we interpret this? Okay, we are 95% confident that the mean in price of homes for all the population will be between 4258, just list the two numbers. I will be between 258,899 and 405,323. Okay, now it means that those two values are also included. Okay, so that is just an example of how to compute the confidence interval, the 95% confidence interval for the selling price. Now you're going to do the same for the mean number of days, and of course same for the proportion. Okay, now based on this, you will write a memo. You are required to write a memo for the company, right? Informing the agents about the characteristics. So just act like you are the statistician, you have done the work, and you are trying to advise them. So you can tell them, okay, based on our analysis that they mean, you can talk about some of these things here. You can say the average selling price based on our sample of 20 is 332, right? And you are confident, you are 95% confident or sure that the price, the average price will be between these two numbers you just computed, right? You can talk about the minimum, maximum, and the rest of the stuff. Okay, so just let them know what you have found out about the pricing. Okay, all right, so the next thing is to talk about the regression. If you have any other questions, please let me know. So now again, if you are doing confidence interval, you're using the sample right here. Okay, so this is just the output for the confidence interval. So for the regression, you are using the entire data set. So I'm going to go back to the entire data set, which has 105 homes. So the first thing you are going to do is to make sure that everything here is still in order. Let's see. Okay, so remember, we're not doing anything with this, with the random. The reason why we created this was just to select 20 homes. Okay, so now you are doing regression. What you will need to do is to go to data analysis again. So instead of going to descriptive statistics, you are going to go to regression, right? And I'm going to do okay. So all these, let me remove all this stuff. When you open yours for the first time, all these things are not going to be there. So check out this stuff. We don't need that. So it's going to ask you for the input y, which is the dependent variable. Now, if you look at the question, it says, the number one says, let the selling price be the dependent variable. That's your y. So I'm going to click on this arrow, and I am going to select the price, which is the dependent, down there. All of them. 105. Okay, click the arrow to open it. Now I'm going to select the input, which is the x, which is our independent variable. Well, if you look at the question, it says size is the independent variable. So I'm going to click on this arrow and look for price. Where is price? Sorry, the size is the independent. Where is the size? Right here. So I'm going to do size right here. So we're trying to see the relationship between size and price. Right? Can we use size to predict the price? Okay, so that's done. So I've selected the two variables. Now, of course, we also selected the label. So click on that. And want this also to be saved in a new worksheet. Remember, the first one that we did is on sheet number 6. We don't really, maybe we can include the confidence interval, but you don't have to do that. We want, what else do we want here? Let's see. Now remember that the first one we did, where we randomly selected 20 homes, that everybody's result will be different. You cannot get the same answers, because your random sample of 20 for one person is most likely not going to be the same as the random sample of another person. So they will be different. But for this one, since we're using the same numbers, people are likely going to get the same. People will get the same answers. Okay, so we have selected our dependent variable, which is the price, and independence, which is the size. So now let's go ahead and run this. We're asking the Excel to save our output in a new worksheet. Now, normally if there are space, we can ask Excel to just paste the output on the same sheet, but we don't have any space here. So okay, so this is what we have. Okay, now usually so this is, it gives you multiple R square. R square is just telling us how good the predictor is predicting the dependent variable. Now of course you have other stuff. This is ANOVA. This is close to 0, which means that this is the size is a very good predictor of price. So these are your coefficients. So this intercept is your B1, and size is your, so intercept is your B0, and size is your B1. Okay, so the question is asking the regression equation. So the regression equation is going to look like something like this. I don't want to type it because that means I'm doing the work for you. So your equation is going to look like, I'm just going to say it. The regression equation is going to be price equals, price equals negative 15775.9 plus, so this first, okay, so it's going to be B0. Let me do this. B0, which is the intercept value for coefficient. Okay, let's do this. B0 plus B1. B1 in this case is 108.36. B1 times size. Let me do size. Okay, so price is equal to B0 plus B1 times size. Okay, so if you want, let's see, price equals B0 is negative 15775.9 plus, let's see, plus 108.36 times size. Now remember, the reason why we do regression is to make predictions, right? Now we have already seen, look at this value here, this is what you look at. This value here is close to 0. It's 0.000, many zeros before you get 1.4. So it is small, close to 0. So whenever it is small, less than 0.05, it means there's significance, right? That means that size is a significant predictor of price of homes, right? So so when you have this equation right here, if I ask you now to tell me the price when the size is, let's say 50 square footage or whatever, right? Then you plug in 50 right here, right? If I ask you the price when the size is, let's say 100 units, you know, or whatever, you plug in 100 here to get the price for that particular size. All right, so that's what you do. What else we need to talk about? Let's see, the null hypothesis. Now the goal of the regression is to make sure that B1 is not equal to 0. So the hypothesis, remember, the hypothesis has two of them. You have H0 and you have H1. So what is H1 talking about? H0 is a null hypothesis. It's saying that B1 is equal to 0. Now if B1, that's a small, let's put colon here. Now B, that's a small letter B, B1 is equal to 0, meaning that size has no effect, 0 effect on price, right? But H1 is saying no, there is an effect, there is a difference, right? So we're saying that B1 is not equal to, there's a symbol for not equal to, I mean, you can, you know, is not equal to 0. Okay, so I think that we have you know, covered most part of what is needed for this assignment. If you have any other question, please let me know. I want you to turn in this Excel. I want to see what you're able to do. Your Excel will have about 4 sheets. One is this the entire data set, then you have the sample, then you have the output for regression, and of course you have output for the confidence interval. Okay, all right, bye bye.